Chapter 3. Gemini. Identification and fascination lead to the sleep of the consciousness. For example, you are going quite calmly on the street. You suddenly meet a public demonstration. The masses vociferate. They talk about the leaders of the people. The flags wave through the air. People seem to be crazy. Everybody talks. Everybody yells. That public demonstration is very interesting. You already forgot everything you had to do. You become identified with the masses. The speaker's words convince you. The public demonstration is so interesting that you already forgot yourself. You have become identified so much with that street demonstration that you no longer think of anything else. You are fascinated. You now fall into the sleep of consciousness. Mixed with the shouting masses, you also shout, and you even throw stones and insults. You are dreaming beautifully. You no longer know who you are. You have forgotten everything. We will now give you another simpler example. You are in your living room, seated before the television screen. Cowboy scenes appear. There is shooting, lovers' dramas, etc., etc. The movie is very interesting. It has totally caught your attention. You have already forgotten yourself, that you even shout with enthusiasm. You are identified with the cowboys, with the gunshots, with the couple of lovers. The fascination is now terrible. You do not even remotely remember yourself. You have entered a very profound sleep. In those moments, you only want to see the triumph of the hero of the movie. You rejoice with him. You are worried about the fate he may have. Thousands and millions are the circumstances that produce identification, fascination, and sleep. People identify with persons, things, ideas, and every type of identification is followed by fascination and sleep. People live with consciousness asleep. They work dreaming. They drive cars dreaming. And they also kill pedestrians who walk dreaming on the streets, absorbed in their own thoughts. During the hours of rest of the physical body, the ego, I, exits the physical body and takes along its dreams wherever it goes. When it returns to the physical body, when it once again enters the vigil state, it continues with its same dreams, and in this manner it spends its entire life dreaming. The persons that die cease to exist, but the ego, I, continues in the supersensible regions beyond death. At the hour of death, the ego takes along its dreams, its worldliness, and lives in the world of the dead with its dreams. It continues dreaming. With the consciousness asleep, it ambulates like a somnambulist, asleep, unconscious. Whoever wants to awaken consciousness should work here and now. We have the consciousness incarnated, and that is why we should work it here and now. Whoever awakens consciousness in this three-dimensional world awakens in the fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh dimensions. The one who wants to live consciously in the superior worlds should awaken here and now. The four Gospels insist on the necessity of awakening, but people do not understand. People sleep profoundly, but they believe that they are awake. When someone accepts that he is asleep, it is a clear sign that he already begins to awaken. It is very difficult to make other persons comprehend that they have their consciousness asleep. People never accept the tremendous truth that they are asleep. The one who wants to awaken consciousness should practice inner self-remembering from moment to moment. This exercise of being in self-remembering from moment to moment is in fact an intensive work. A moment, an instant of forgetfulness is enough to begin dreaming beautifully. We urgently need to be watching all our thoughts, sentiments, desires, emotions, habits, instincts, sexual impulses, etc. Every thought, emotion, movement, instinctive act, sexual impulse should be immediately auto-observed as they come forth in our psyche. Any lack of attention is sufficient to fall into the sleep of consciousness. Many times you are walking on the street, absorbed in your own thoughts, identified with those thoughts, fascinated, dreaming beautifully. Suddenly, a friend passes near you, greets you. You do not return the greeting because you do not see him. You are dreaming. The friend becomes angry. He assumes that you are a person without manners, or that you are possibly angry. The friend is also going around dreaming. If he was awake, he would not make such conjectures to himself. He would immediately realize that you are walking around asleep. It is very difficult to stay awake from moment to moment, but it is indispensable. When we learn to live awake from moment to moment, then we stop dreaming here and outside of the physical body. It is necessary to know that when people fall asleep, they come out of their physical bodies, but they carry along their dreams. They live in the internal worlds dreaming, and when they return to the physical body, they continue with their dreams. They continue dreaming. When one learns to live awake from moment to moment, one stops dreaming here and in the internal worlds. It is necessary to know that the ego, I, enveloped in its lunar bodies, exits the physical body when the body falls asleep. Unfortunately, the ego lives asleep in the internal worlds.
Besides the ego, that which is called essence, soul, fraction of a soul, buddhata, consciousness, exists inside the lunar bodies. It is that consciousness that we should awaken here and now. Here in this world, we have the consciousness. Here we should awaken it if we truly want to stop dreaming and live consciously in the superior worlds. The person with awake consciousness lives, works, acts consciously in the superior worlds while his body rests in his bed. The conscious person does not have unfoldment problems. The problem of learning to unfold oneself at will is only for the asleep. The awake person does not even concern himself with learning to unfold himself. He lives consciously in the superior worlds while his physical body sleeps in bed. The awake person no longer dreams. During the rest of the body, he lives in those regions where people wander dreaming, but with his consciousness awake. The awake person is in contact with the White Lodge. He visits the temples of the great Universal White Fraternity and interviews with his Guru Deva while his body sleeps. Inner self-remembering, from moment to moment, develops the spatial sense, and then we can even see the dreams of people who walk the streets. The spatial sense includes sight, hearing, smell, taste, touch, etc. in itself. The spatial sense is the functionalism of the awake consciousness. The chakras, of which occultist literature speaks, in relation to the spatial sense, are what the flame of a match is in relation to the sun. If inner self-remembering from moment to moment is fundamental to awaken consciousness, learning to use attention is no less fundamental. Gnostic students should learn to divide attention into 3 parts: subject, object, and place. Subject, to not fall into the forgetting of oneself before any representation. Object, to observe everything, every representation, every fact, every event, no matter how insignificant the latter may seem, in detail without forgetting oneself. Place, the rigorous observation of the place where we may be. Ask ourselves, what place is this? Why am I here? Within this place factor, we should include the dimensional issue, since it could be the case that we are really in the 4th or in the 5th dimension of nature during the moment of observation. Let us remember that nature has 7 dimensions. The law of gravity reigns in the 3-dimensional world. The law of levitation exists within the superior dimensions of nature. Upon observing a place, we should never forget the matter of the 7 dimensions of nature. It is convenient, therefore, to ask ourselves, in what dimension am I? Then it is necessary, in the way of verification, to take the highest possible jump with the intention of floating in the surrounding atmosphere. It is logical that if we float, it is because we are outside of the physical body. We should never forget that when the physical body sleeps, the ego, with the lunar bodies and the essence within, unconsciously ambulates like a somnambulist in the molecular world. The division of attention into subject, object, and place leads to the awakening of consciousness. After becoming accustomed to this exercise, to this division of attention into 3 parts, to these questions, to this little jump, etc., many Gnostic students ended up practicing the same exercise during the sleep of the physical body, when they were really in the superior world, and when they made the famous experimental jump, they floated delightfully in the surrounding atmosphere. They then awakened consciousness. They then remembered that the physical body had remained asleep in the bed, and full of joy, they were able to dedicate themselves to the study of the mysteries of life and death in the superior worlds.
It is logical to say that an exercise that is practiced from moment to moment daily, that becomes a habit, a custom, is recorded so much in the different zones of the mind that afterwards it is automatically repeated during dreaming, when we are really outside of the physical body, and the result is the awakening of consciousness. Gemini is an air sign, governed by the planet Mercury. Gemini governs the lungs, arms, and legs. Exercise. During the zodiacal sign of Gemini, Gnostic students should lie down on their backs and relax the body. Next, one has to inhale the air 5 times and also exhale it 5 times. When one inhales, one has to imagine that the light formerly accumulated in the larynx now acts on the bronchi and lungs. Upon inhaling, the legs and arms will be opened to the left and to the right. The legs and arms will be closed upon exhaling. Mercury is the metal of Gemini. Its stone is the golden beryl, and its color is yellow. Gemini natives love traveling a great deal. They commit the error of ignoring the wise voice of the heart. They want to resolve everything with the mind. They become angry easily. They are very dynamic, versatile, voluble, irritable, intelligent. Their lives are full of successes and failures, and they possess a mad courage. Gemini natives are problematic due to their rare dualism, due to that double personality that characterizes them, and which is symbolized among the Greeks by those mysterious brothers called Castor and Pollux. One never knows how the Gemini native will proceed in this or that case due precisely to their double personality. At any specific moment, the Gemini native results a very sincere friend, capable of sacrificing even his own life out of friendship for the person to whom he has offered his love. But at any other moment, he is capable of the worst infamies against that same loved person. The inferior type of Gemini is very dangerous, and that is why his friendship is not advisable. The most serious defect of the Gemini natives is the tendency of falsely judging all persons. The twins, Castor and Pollux, invite us to reflection. It is in fact known that in nature, manifested matter and the occult energies symbolized in the heat, light, electricity, the chemical energies, and other superior ones which are still unknown to us, always process themselves in an inverse manner, and the appearance of one presupposes the entropy or disappearance of the other. No less and no more than the mysterious brothers Castor and Pollux, a symbol of such a phenomenon among the Greeks. They alternately lived and died in the same manner that matter and energy anywhere are alternately born and die, appear and disappear. The process of Gemini is vital in cosmogenesis. The original Earth was a sun that gradually condensed at the expense of a nebulous ring when, by irradiation or cooling down, the first solid film of our globe was determined by means of the chemical phenomenon of dissipation or entropy of the energy, which constitutes the gross states of matter, which we call solid and liquid. All of these changes in nature are carried out in accordance with the intimate processes of Castor and Pollux. During these times of the 20th century, life has already initiated its return to the absolute, and gross matter begins to transform itself into energy. We have been told that in the fifth round the earth shall be a cadaver, a new moon, and that life will develop with all of its constructive and destructive processes in the etheric world. From the esoteric point of view, we can affirm that Castor and Pollux are twin souls. The being, the inner self of each of us, has two twin souls, the spiritual and the human souls. In the run-of-the-mill intellectual animal, the being, the inner self, is not born nor dies, nor reincarnates, but it does send the essence to each new personality. The essence is a fraction of the human soul, the buddhata. It is urgent to know that the buddhata, the essence, is deposited within the lunar bodies with which the ego garbs itself. Speaking in a little clearer manner, we will say that the essence is unfortunately bottled up in the lunar ego. The lost ones descend. The descent to the infernal worlds only has as objective the destruction of the lunar bodies and the ego by means of the submerged involution. It is only by destroying the bottle that the essence escapes. All of those incessant changes of matter into energy and energy into matter always invite us to reflect on Gemini. Gemini is intimately related to the bronchi, lungs, and breathing. The microcosm man is made to the image and likeness of the macrocosm. The earth also breathes. The earth inhales the vital sulfur of the sun and then exhales it already converted into terrestrial sulfur, which is analogous to man that inhales pure oxygen and exhales it converted into carbon dioxide. This vital wave, alternately ascending and descending, true systole and diastole, inhalation and exhalation, surge forth from the most profound bosom of the earth.